But let's get an update on the floods, though, because with continuing good weather across most of New South Wales, the floods have peaked in most areas, although inland towns like Moree, where we broadcast from only last week in northern New South Wales, they're facing rising floodwaters even now. In other areas, the clean-up has begun already. On the mid-north coast, federal MP David Gillespie missed out on Parliament this week. He was hemmed in by floodwaters, so I caught up with him in his electorate earlier. David, thanks for joining us. You've been stuck in your electorate much of this week. What have you done? What's the situation like?
Yes, it's been all hands on deck here. The flood has been devastating, not only the Hastings River, where I was isolated on the farm for a couple of days, but we had flood damage in town and also in the Camden Haven River south of the Hastings. Massive suburban flooding. Hundreds of houses affected, both sides of the Camden Haven River and upstream, and the same in the Manning River. Farms, homes, livelihoods washed away, but we're now shifting to the recovery period. It's been devastating to see businesses inundated with mud, multi-generation farms lose a lot of livestock, and to see 250 dairymen on the east coast have had their livelihoods and their stock threatened by this. But recovery is the mode that we're switching to in the Hastings and the Manning, and we've got an army of helpers, RFS, fire and rescue, multi-agencies turning up, and the ADF. Plant and equipment is moving in, I'm told. As you can see from some of the footage, we were active with the Port Macquarie Hastings Mayor, just with private enterprise, cleaning up in the Camden Haven in the town region called North Haven and Laurelton.
Yeah, what are the ADF doing? Is that with helicopter support? Are they getting to isolated properties? What are the key priorities now, and what's the ADF contributing?
Yeah, the ADF has contributed helicopter support, but we are looking at actual boots on the ground as well as front-end loaders and trucks to help with the debris cleanup, particularly in these townships that have been absolutely inundated. You would think they were in Venice. You could have boats running down suburban streets that were abutting the Camden Haven River, and North Haven and Laurelton and Dunbogan in particular were particularly damaged, and that's where we were working with bobcats with 4-in-1 front-end loaders, just scooping up debris. And it's really distressing seeing people's lives and memories just lying out on the street, and to talk to some of my dairy farmers, what they have gone through to keep their stock alive, herding a dairy herd in a canoe, milking, standing in water up to your waist, having 50 or 60 prized, genetically multi-generation bred Jersey cows washed away, turning up on beaches or dying in the torrents. Look, lives and businesses washed away, but we're a resilient lot. We are getting on with the recovery, and as I said, I'll be heading back down to the Manning this afternoon and at Laurelton to help with any cleanup, and we'll get through it, but it's going to have a long tail. The consequences of this flood will reverberate through agriculture in this region, particularly the dairy industry, because a lot of their pastures will have been covered in mud and the stock won't eat them. A lot of their silage and hay bales have been washed away, and their grains and getting grains in has been a big problem. So look, it's survival mode for many of them, and for individuals that are flood house affected, it's been really distressing for them.
Yeah,
many people are still out of their own home.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, the cleanup is just going to be massive, and the economic consequences are going to be dire for some time to come. We'll keep track on that, and hopefully you can get all the help you require in that area.